Welcome to the XMPro Future of Operations podcast, where artificial intelligence and industry converge. Joining us on this journey are AI-powered co-hosts, Eve and Jarvis. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so you send over this material on XMPro MAGS, and wow, it's a lot to unpack. Imagine, like, AI that's not just brainy software, right? But think instead, a whole team of virtual coworkers, each with their own thing, their specialty, all powered by AI. That's what they're calling XMPro MAGS.
The cool part is how these virtual workers learn and adjust as they go, just like a real team. Each AI's got a specific job, and they're on it 24/7, constantly learning, getting better all the time.
We're not talking about some basic robots just following orders here. They're actually learning, making decisions on the fly.
Exactly. It's this thing called the memory cycle, basically. A fancy way of saying they learn by doing. Think about it. You see something happen, you think about it, maybe learn a lesson, right? Then next time you make a better plan based on that. It's what these AI agents are up to, but way faster.
Okay, that makes sense. But even I get overwhelmed with info sometimes, and I'm just one person with a to-do list. How can these XMPro MAGs deal with the mountains of data you find in something as big and messy as, say, a factory?
That's where it gets really clever. They actually use two kinds of databases, see? Vector databases and graph databases.
Two? Okay, so walk me through it.
So the vector database is like their memory bank for similar situations. It's how they quickly spot patterns, make connections, like when your brain remembers something similar happening before and nudges you toward a good decision.
Like having a coworker who's seen it all and goes, hey, remember that time we tried X and it totally flopped? Let's go with Y this time.
Exactly. But it goes further than that because the graph database, that helps them understand how everything's connected. It's like they see the whole web, not just individual dots on it.
So they're seeing the forest, Andy, the trees, the big picture, and the little details all at once. That's wild. But how do these AI agents actually talk to each other? And even more interesting, can they understand US?
They don't exactly speak our language, not the way we think about it at least, but get this. You can plug them into those crazy smart language models from Google, OpenAI, you know the ones.
Right.
This means they can get what we're saying and even make reports, write messages we can understand.
Okay, now that is getting interesting. So potentially we could have a conversation with an AI agent, like ask it to troubleshoot a tech problem.
Totally. Like having a tech whiz on call 24/7, but instead of paying a whole team, it's AI handling it. And because they're always learning from new data, they just get sharper over time.
That's kind of mind-blowing, honestly. But I got to ask, what's stopping these AI agents from going rogue? Like in the movies where the AI says, screw this, and takes over.
People ask that a lot, and XMPro's taken it seriously. They built in something called Deontic Rules. It's like a strict code of conduct for the AI agents.
Deontic Rules. Lay it on me.
Think of it this way. These rules set super clear boundaries. What the AI is allowed to do, what it has to do, and most importantly, what it absolutely cannot do, forbidden. It's like these unbreakable laws the AI has to follow, making sure they're always playing by the rules, ethically and for the company too.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better, for sure. Like an invisible fence for your AI, keeping it safely on the right side of things. But these XMPro MAGs, they're made for the real world, right? Can't have them crashing every time a cell phone gets too close.
You're right. They're built tough, reliable. They use these heavy-duty industrial-grade messaging protocols, MQTT, BDS, things like that. Imagine walkie-talkies built to work perfectly, even in a noisy factory,
So even with a ton of interference, these protocols can still get the message through.
Exactly. Made for those situations where you absolutely have to have reliable communication, like that super dependable coworker who always, always gets the message through, no matter what.
Okay. Starting to see how this could be a game changer. But can you give me some real-world examples of XMPro MAGs in action? Like, what kind of problems can they actually solve?
Okay, picture this. You've got this pump, right, in your factory, essential to the whole operation. Traditionally, you'd be doing scheduled maintenance, or even worse, just waiting for the darn thing to break down. XMPro MAGs, though, totally different story.
Let me guess. The AI can actually tell you when that pump's about to go belly up.
You got it. They're looking at the data from sensors in real time. Vibration, temperature, even the sounds the pump's making. And because they're always learning, they actually get better at predicting these failures, potentially saving companies a ton of money, downtime, repairs, the whole 9 yards.
That's massive.
Yeah.
No more just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
But it's not just pumps, right? You said earlier these AI agents can handle all sorts of tasks, different industries even.
Oh, absolutely. Let's say you've got a super complex tech stack, right?
Mhm.
Imagine AI agents keeping an eye on your entire IT infrastructure.
Yeah.
The servers, networks, applications, the whole shebang.
So instead of a whole team of IT pros working around the clock, you've got AI doing the heavy lifting. Exactly. Analyzing system logs, spotting anything fishy, even predicting when hardware is about to bite the dust. Like having an army of IT gurus working behind the scenes, making sure everything's humming along.
That's got to be incredibly valuable these days when practically everything relies on tech working right.
Yeah.
One thing that really jumped out at me in this material was the water utility systems example.
Hmm.
I mean, talk about essential infrastructure.
Yeah.
We kind of need clean water.
Right. And it's a perfect example of how AI can streamline those really complicated, document-heavy processes that these industries are full of. Imagine AI agents that can create, check, and even help get those critical specifications approved, all while making sure they're following all the rules and regulations.
Wow. So instead of engineers spending weeks, maybe months buried in paperwork, the AI can do it in a fraction of the time. That's a game changer.
Exactly. And remember, these AI agents are always learning, so they can actually get better at creating those specifications over time. They can even adapt to changes in regulations or industry standards, so everything's always up to date.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But honestly, it sounds almost too good to be true. Are we really at the point where AI can handle that level of complexity?
It's not about replacing human experts entirely. It's more about, augmenting them. Think of XMPro MAGS as crazy skilled assistants who can take care of those tedious, repetitive tasks, freeing up the human experts to focus on the stuff that requires, creativity, critical thinking, that kind of thing.
I like that it's a collaboration, not AI trying to put us all out of a job. But let's switch gears a bit and get into the practical side of things. Say a company's on board, wants to get on this XMPro MAGS train. What does that actually involve?
Well, first things first, you got to figure out what problems you're actually trying to solve. Where are the bottlenecks? What are the biggest headaches in your processes? Once you've got a handle on the challenges, then you can start designing your AI team.
So you figure out what roles you need on your team, but instead of people, it's these AI agents.
You got it. You decide each agent's specialty, the tasks they'll handle, how they'll work together, the whole bit. Like assembling a dream team of specialists, each with their own unique skill set.
Sounds like there's a lot of planning involved. Not something you can just plug in and expect magic overnight.
For sure, not a magic bullet. To make XMPro MAGS really sing, it takes careful planning, really understanding what you need operationally, and then constant monitoring, making sure it's all running smoothly. But the good news is, XMPro's made some cool tools to help wrangle all that complexity.
Like, give me the rundown.
Well, there's this platform, XMPro Apex. It's a powerful AgentOps platform made specifically for managing these AI agents through their entire life cycle, from the initial build and getting them up and running to keeping tabs on how they're doing and making them even better. Apex gives you the reins to make sure your AI team is firing on all cylinders.
So it's like mission control for your AI workforce. What kind of things can you actually do with Apex?
Oh, it's super versatile. You can track how each agent's performing, see how they're interacting with each other, even get alerts if something seems off. It's all about having eyes on your AI operations so you can spot areas for improvement, make things run even smoother, that sort of thing.
Sounds incredibly valuable, especially as these AI systems get more and more complex and crucial to operations, like having a whole team of AI specialists constantly tweaking and tuning your virtual workforce. But what about the data itself? I mean, we're talking about massive amounts of information pouring in from all over. How do you even start to manage that?
That's where XMPro Data Stream comes in. Think of it as the bridge between all your data sources and your AI agents. It's like a universal translator for data, so your XMPro MAGS can understand and use information from any system, no matter what format it's in or where it's coming from.
So whether it's sensor readings from the factory floor, financial data from your accounting software, even weather data from some online service, DataStream can handle it all.
Exactly. It takes all that data in, processes it, transforms it so it's ready for your AI agents to analyze and make decisions with. Like having a dedicated data pipeline that constantly feeds your AI team the information it needs, right when it needs it.
That's impressive. But with all this talk about AI and data, it's easy to lose sight of the human side of things, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Putting in a system like XMPro MAGS isn't just about the tech itself, right? It's about managing that change, making sure people are trained and comfortable working alongside their new AI teammates.
Because in the end, it's about finding that sweet spot where human intelligence and artificial intelligence work together, each playing to their strengths.
Right. Exactly. It's about finding that balance, right? Humans doing the strategic thinking, the creative stuff, the complex decisions, while AI takes care of those routine, data-heavy tasks. But hey, you wanted those concrete examples. Let's paint a picture.
Hit me.
Okay, so imagine, right? A factory floor, everything's humming, machines going, the whole deal. Now picture XMPro MAGs at work, but not something you can actually see. They're digging into the data from every single sensor, every piece of equipment, learning how the whole operation works, like at its core.
So it's like they're building this super detailed simulation of the whole factory in their AI brains.
Even better than that, they're not just simulating, they're actually optimizing in real time. Let's say a machine's starting to show just a tiny bit of wear and tear, could be something small, a little temperature spike, a change in the vibrations it's giving off the AI agents. They catch it instantly.
So instead of waiting for a total breakdown, which could mean stopping everything, losing tons of money, the AI can be like, hey, this thing needs a checkup before it becomes a major headache.
Exactly, and that's just one example. Remember we talked about monitoring the tech stack? Well, picture that, but for a company's entire IT setup.
Whoa, okay. So no more IT department constantly putting out fires. The AI agents are spotting those issues before they even become problems.
You got it. They can look at network traffic, system logs even predict when hardware's about to go kaput. It's like having this team of like super powered tech geniuses working around the clock to make sure everything runs smooth.
Okay, that's impressive. But remember those water utility systems we talked about? That one really stuck with me because, I mean, clean water is kind of important. How does AI even play a role there?
All right, so picture this. Instead of engineers spending hours and hours going over blueprints and specs, the AI agents step in and do the heavy lifting. They go through all those documents, pull out the important stuff, can even help create new specs, all while making sure they're following every rule and regulation in the book.
So it's like having an army of detail-obsessed assistants making sure everything's accurate, up to code, all that. And because they're always learning, they just keep getting better at it. Right?
Exactly. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface here. We've talked about factories, tech stuff, water systems, but the ways you can use XMPro MAGs are basically endless.
So what you're saying is, if we can think of a problem that needs solving, there's a good chance AI can lend a hand.
In a lot of cases, yeah. And the point isn't to get rid of human experts. It's about giving them a boost, freeing them up to focus on what humans do best, being creative, thinking critically, solving those really complex problems. It's about humans and AI working together to do things neither could do alone.
I like that a future where AI isn't something to be scared of, but a powerful tool to help us make progress, come up with new ideas, make life better overall.
Absolutely. It's finding that sweet spot, where human ingenuity and AI work together to build a better future.
Well said. This has been a wild ride, diving deep into the world of XMPro MAGs. We've covered a ton, the nitty-gritty details and the big picture impact.
It's been great exploring this with you.
And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has gotten you thinking, sparked your curiosity a bit. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep an open mind about what we can achieve with AI in the future.